The negative news for Boeing continues to surface as yet another whistleblower has come forward to share their experience. The individual says that the company needs to be torn down and rebuilt if significant progress is to be made. The comments come after several airline CEOs commented publicly about the planemaker's troubles, voicing their opinions on Boeing's present and future. And so, today's news roundup will focus on the ongoing issues at Boeing. Let's get started. The biggest news comes as a result of Roy Irvin. According to The Independent, Irvin worked as a quality investigator for Boeing for 6 years and has seen a lot of concerning things over that period. Speaking to the media, Irvin said that the company is, quote, infested with yes men and bean counters, and is convinced that the company should tear down and rebuild to make significant progress. Speaking with The Independent about the possibility of more alarming Boeing aircraft incidents, Irvin said, "I hope there's no more, but I feel there may be other things hiding in the bushes." He then added, "The door blowout really hit home for me because I predicted this." Irvin alleges that things don't get brought to anyone's attention unless they're found, and that there are, quote, other things that probably haven't been found yet. In fact, the former employee says that the relatively low number of serious incidents at Boeing has been, quote, a miracle. A lot of defects were found that weren't on any inspection job. Somebody who just happened to see it got lucky and found it. There's probably many things still hiding, I'm afraid. I hope I'm wrong, but it's very possible. Irvin goes on to say that he was pressured to hide defects, saying, "The thing about working at Boeing is if you talk to the media, you'll get fired, so that was definitely off the table. At that point, I would escalate internally as much as possible, and oftentimes I got pushed back. But the media wouldn't have had a way to know about any of this until people started talking publicly recently. I would have spoken up earlier if anybody had any questions." News of the most recent whistleblower and their remarks comes in advance of a scheduled hearing where Boeing's CEO will testify. More specifically, Calhoun will testify before the U.S. Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, or PSI. Indeed, as announced on June 5th by 2 American senators, David Calhoun, Boeing's president and chief executive officer, or CEO, will square off with government representatives on June 18th. Senator Richard Blumenthal stated, "I look forward to Mr. Calhoun's testimony, which is a necessary step in meaningfully addressing Boeing's failures, regaining public trust, and restoring the company's central role in the American economy and national defense." Blumenthal alleged that over the years Boeing had put profits ahead of safety, stock price ahead of quality, and production speed ahead of responsibility. These practices have thus brought the planemaker to this moment, and its hollow promises to change its ways can no longer stand. In a statement to Simple Flying, Boeing stated, "We welcome the opportunity to appear before the subcommittee to share the actions we have taken and will continue to take to strengthen safety and quality and ensure that commercial air travel remains the safest form of transportation. We are committed to fostering a culture of accountability and transparency while upholding the highest standards of safety and quality." In the past few days, airline executives have chimed in on Boeing's current status as well. Among the various things discussed during a roundtable with Emirates President Sir Tim Clark at the IATA Annual General Meeting, or AGM, was Boeing's current production issues. Clark said that Boeing will take a few more years to recapture its production line on all aircraft types, and that it needs to first look back at the last 10 to 15 years to see what went wrong. Simple Flying was present at the roundtable discussion where Clark mentioned Boeing's strategy of stripping out the supply chain to reduce costs and how, over time, it played a role in affecting manufacturing quality. He added, "Now I think Boeing needs to step back and say, what did we get wrong over the last 10 or 15 years, and how do we need to address that?" The manifestation of the situation they find themselves in today is a result of taking the eye off the ball and the government's shifting focus to other areas, and now they need to go back to where they were. And if they do that, the whole process is salvageable. We can get things back to where they need to stay. Clark supports Boeing's decision to acquire Spirit Aerosystems, saying that they must deal with this problem first and not worry about anything else. Earlier this year, Clark was warned that Boeing could delay 777X deliveries to 2026, 6 years after they were initially planned. With this in mind, Clark, as well as several other airline executives, has been extremely cautious about predicting first deliveries and entry into service dates for the re-engined 777. It's not just Emirates' leadership making comments about Boeing. At the same IATA AGM event in Dubai, United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby stated that Boeing's issues are structural. He also noted that United is receiving Boeing 737 MAX 9s in place of future MAX 10 deliveries until issues with the airliner can be resolved. One reporter asked Kirby about these issues at Boeing and how he assesses the transparency of management. Kirby replied, "You could probably tell by the way I talk that my bias is one of extreme transparency, so I struggle to find anyone that is as transparent as I think I personally am." Later in the conversation, Kirby stated, "The biggest thing for Boeing to do is to make the structural changes to get Boeing back to the level of greatness." He said United Airlines wanted to work with Boeing to, quote, "get it back to where it was." When asked who he wanted to lead Boeing, he responded by saying that he wanted someone who, quote, "is going to restore the focus on quality engineering technology that's not worried about short-term financials. I believe if they do that, the short-term financials will take care of themselves." Scott Kirby was also asked if he expects the Boeing 737 MAX 10 to face more delays. He responded, "I don't know when it'll come." Kirby added that United Airlines has asked Boeing to build MAX 9s for them. He expressed confidence that when the issues are worked through and the MAX 10 is certified, it'll be a quote-unquote really good airliner. Basically, every airplane Boeing should be making for us should be a MAX 10 now, clarifying that they'll not be going to United until the structural problems at Boeing are resolved. So that's the latest news concerning Boeing and the scrutiny it is facing. What are your thoughts on all of this news? Share your thoughts with us by leaving a comment. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.